Hello guys, and welcome to another day with Zimaleta. My name is Serge, and in today's video we're going to be finishing removing the exhaust manifold. This is going to be a part 3 of this video. Sorry if it's not named as a part 3, just because it's kind of like hard to fit everything in there and like into the actual description. Could only use 100 characters, and I want to be very clear at what's really going on. So when I have some time, I will try to update the thumbnails to be able to reflect the part 1, the part 2, the part 3. Now, I just recorded the part 2, which is mainly a lot of talking, and I'm gonna try to name that video very clearly for you. That video I'm sure already came out and you guys already seen it, so I tried my best to name it clearly so you will understand that we just had a discussion about the studs removal, the stud breakage, how to install them, how to remove them, and what to really expect when really working with studs and nuts. Okay, in this particular video I want to continue actually removal process, and we're starting it now, so I'm going to show you kind of like where we left off, and let's continue. So here's what we gotta do so far. Okay, so yesterday I have removed let me see if I could tuck this out of the way somehow, like that. So I did remove the rest of the plastic on top of the engine, which I did not cover. I just basically just did it because it was kind of important. It's easy to remove, just snaps in over here on the side, which allowed me access from the top, straight shut down, and for me to be able to see that bolt right there, and remove all of these bolts nice and straight. These were extremely tight because these are exhaust manifold bolts to a turbo. One thing that I failed to mention, you do need this gasket here. I was at the dealer and I was asking them about this gasket, but they're like, it doesn't have a gasket. So I did not argue with them. I'm thinking, okay, well, it's probably something on me. I never worked on these 2.1 liters. Maybe they don't have it, I don't know. But yeah, it does have a gasket here. So I did request that gasket today, so it's going to be arriving a little bit later on today, and the owner of the Sprinter is going to bring me that gasket. So I ordered it from Mercedes, and we decided to go ahead and get those 3 bolts for here. So I did remove them, no problem. None of them broke, even though they were very tight. I did use Croil, and that, I think that really helped. So this bolts, well, these are studs. Okay, sometimes I make a mistake and say bolts, but really these are studs, and they had nuts on them, and these studs decided to stay behind while the nuts came out just fine. Okay, however, this stud came out together with the nut, and that stud on that side right there decided to break off, and this is what I was kind of like covering that topic. So it's kind of broken inside of the head, so that's going to be interesting for me to drill it out. And then everything at the bottom came out just fine. I think one of them came out together with the stud at the bottom, and some of them came out as the bolts. There's total 8 of them, but this one here on this side, it's acting as if it's stripped. Now, what I didn't know yesterday, and I do know this today, is that the actual nuts are bent. So take a look at this nut right here. As you could see, this is not an illusion. This is crushed. It's actually looking like oval shaped. So when I tried to removing that particular nut, even though it appeared not to be stripped, it's actually bent. And because it's bent, it's causing an issue. So it's been crushed on this side and that side. If you take a closer look, you could see that it's been inside of a vise or some kind of heavy duty pliers. But I think that's a vise, and they have bent the sides of it. And this is why it's looking like that, which this creates a problem because this is a 12 millimeter type of socket. Now, when it's bent like that, it's very easy to strip them because you only have couple edges that you have to work with. So because it's bent, it's going to be loosened, and it's gonna spin, which sucks, and that happens. I do have a tool that I could use to pull it out, and I will be addressing that concern. Also, because these nuts are crushed like that. So I noticed that they're going in a little crooked on some of these threads, and now I know why. It's because, I mean, how are you gonna like put the threads on perfectly, because it is going a little crooked. So this particular E10 type of bolt, there's two of them on this flex pipe, and one of them at the bottom is already removed. Usually I try to remove them at, you know, like a little bit at each time, that way, you know, it doesn't flex and stuff, and I'm able to remove it evenly. But I noticed that the bottom one was coming out okay, but this was coming out crooked. So I believe when this was being installed, this was also installed a little crooked, and you could kind of see that if you look at it. Even though the actual let me see here, I mean, I don't know if I could, even if I squeeze on it, you see, you could see it's coming out crooked. Now I've taken some pictures of this, that way we have this. I hope it doesn't break. If it does break, I'm sure I could find another bolt like this. It's no problem. We don't have to buy one. I have a bunch of sprinters here. And because it's inside of the manifold, and I would be pulling the manifold off, it's not going to be a huge issue, because I could just drill it out, you know, once I take the manifold out. I decided not to disconnect this line. It's part of the sensor type of system. However, I did just got this bolt loose a little bit, and I did need it to raise this higher a little bit here without really damaging anything, so that I could, you know, go with an extension tool to the 12mm here and try to undo it. There's just not a lot of room to really work here, but that's what I did to be able to get to that bolt. So now, with all the explanations out of the way about the manifold, I do want to address this here. So we have vacuum driven turbo actuator here. I did disconnect the turbo actuator. I did not remove the line itself. This line is removable. I did not remove it. I feel that it's unnecessary. It just wasn't really going to help me with anything, since the line is rubber and I'm able to, you know, flex it here and there like if I need to, but really it's not in my way. However, this heat shield, I had to put like a rag over it, because working on this side and trying to put any type of tension on any of these bolts, my wrist was actually going right here on this heat shield. Of course, I was working with the engine not being hot, so that was not an issue, but it's just cutting into my wrist, like over here. So by putting a little cloth over it, that helped. So if you could move it, you know, side to side, you'll have access to those other bolts, because like, look, see, like you could put it forward and you could put it this way. So you do have some options there, which is nice. And with this here, I decided to bend this a little bit out of the way. I pushed it out because it was covering the other bolt at the bottom. I couldn't really get to it that much. And for this heat shield, I decided to just bend this out of the way. It's not going to really hurt things, but there's two bolts that I removed. I could have removed the third, but then, you know, it's an extra bolt installed, and trying to aim the heat shield, there's a likelihood of dropping that bolt because of its location. And it's not that it's hard to get to. It's not bad, but just bending out of the way allowed me to access that area. And let me show you what tool I use. This is an Icon type of socket. I actually bought a set. They had it on clearance. They said these were like too small and like nobody was using them, but this is actually perfect because it's a 1/4 inch type of socket. The fact that it's long wasn't ideal. If this was shorter, fine, but with the heat shield being bent out of the way, this actually gave me plenty of room, being that it's long like this, and this allowed me to work in there just fine. Here's a 3/8 Icon. It's a short ratchet, but it is a 3/8. I'm not making that mistake. And I did put like an E10 on this, and I tried doing it with a short one like this, but the wrench itself is bigger than I wanted it to be, so this was not working out. So that longer extended socket worked a lot better. As far as impact goes, this is a combination of tools that I've used. I tried using this. This is the least, like, I mean, this is you know, pretty heavy duty, but even on the third setting, this was not able to remove any type of bolts. Now, this here on the third setting, it can by Cobalt, because it is designed to remove bolts. This is more just like a hammer drill, but I really like it because of how versatile it is. This here is a 1,500 foot-pound ultra torque wrench, and this is what I used to remove the turbo bolts right here. That's what I used for that. So for the sides, I used the smaller one. Now, with that being said, I did try making sure that the socket is right on it. And the only place I couldn't really get to is this particular one. This is just not a really good area to get to. I tried using that one by hand. It wasn't working. I tried putting impact. Definitely was not working out for me. So that is that. So I don't know how long I've been updating you guys on this. So now I'm proceeding to the next thing. So what I need to do now is just go ahead and remove that bolt right there, which is an E10. Once I've removed that, the only bolt I need to remove is this one here that's been stripped. And that's where we're at right now. So I'm going to begin by removing that one first at the flex pipe.